Some time back I decided to go out for a run. Not a tiny single part of it was even remotely any fun. My feet were very sore and my breathing really burned. My heart was forever screaming, and to make it stop I yearned. I only managed to get to the far end of my street before I had to give up, and I felt completely beat. Why do people do this? They must be completely mad. And yet they seem to wear a smile and look exceptionally glad. A few days drifted by, and I decided to try once more, despite my last appalling attempt ending as a mess upon the floor. I laced up my old sneakers and went back out to the road, and within a few short minutes my legs began to explode. I thought I should give up. I thought that I was done. I'd convincingly had enough before I'd even begun. But then I read about the cycle of change that helps make good habits a bit more long range. First comes pre-contemplation, where I'd been for many years, not aware of my bad habits and not addressing all my fears. The next stage I would find out was where I would contemplate that I had got far too fat, that I had eaten too much cake. Action came in a close third, where I was last week when I put on my trainers and tried to run along the street. But where I was now was a sidestep perhaps, sitting feet up on the couch. I was deep in my relapse. But now I was enlightened, so despite hating the burn, I got my mind back on task, and to action I would return. It was going to be a battle, one I wasn't planning to lose, and preparation gave me an excuse to buy some shiny new shoes. Just a wee side note, and it's worth more than my life, I actually bought 3 pairs, so please don't tell my wife. So I did the couch to 5k, and change started to be seen. I was no longer breathing fire, and my muscles became slightly lean. Mental well-being began to improve, and I slept much better too. It seems that I was starting to become a runner through and through. Rich Roll is a hero of mine, whose statesmood follows action, and finally for me it seemed this thought was gaining traction. So with this good habit formed, I signed up for a race, a local full marathon, aiming for better than last place. I drew myself a running plan and had a few months to train, but unhelpful thoughts and goals started to fill up my brain. What position would I place? Could I get a faster time? Would it be possible to beat a certain friend of mine? Soon I realised this race was just a special occasion. The running was a journey, the finish line not the destination. But the training went quite well, despite an injury or 3, and waiting with 10,000 others on the start line, there was me. It was a grueling day out, and the sun shone in the sky. Sweat streamed, muscles cramped, and I often wanted to cry. But I thought of those early days and the ongoing cycle of change, and all that really hard work to get my brain to rearrange. I listened to other runners, stopped in their sore tracks, cursing their aching legs, chests mimicking heart attacks. But I knew I was a runner, and my courage began to grow. After all, action leads to thoughts, which leads to feelings, don't you know? Soon the finish line was in sight, and the crowd started to roar, my joy swelling in the finish chute, and I truly started to soar. Seconds later I crossed over in a time of 5:21. In 7,000th place thereabouts, but I felt like I had won. With my medal worn so proud, I felt I'd come so far, but the true test was yet to come. The robotic walked back to my car. Over the next few days, my penguin walk eased off, and I realised running that race for me just wasn't enough. So I laced up my shoes and thought of all that I'd done, as maintenance pushed me out the door and I went for another run.